Talmaris 3 was supposed to be quiet, 3 domes, 1 mining rig, and a sky that glowed a lazy orange even at night. Ethan Rourke preferred it like that. Silence, machinery. Predictable atmospheric regulators that sometimes behaved. After Aryan Gate, quiet wasn't a luxury, it was survival. He was recalibrating a faulty iron scrubber when the ground trembled under his boots, not a crust shift. Not machinery. This rumble had rhythm, intent. Wait, something huge had just landed. Ethan stepped outside as dust spiraled upward in unnaturally perfect circles, disturbance patterns from a precision landing. Then he saw it. An obsidian dropship descending in absolute silence, its hull reflecting the orange sky like a blade dipped in fire. "That's absolutely not one of ours," he muttered. The dropship touched down. Its hull split open with a hiss. A figure emerged, tall, armored in deep violet plating that flowed like liquid metal across her form. Bioluminescent markings pulsed along her cheekbones, tracing angular lines of an alien ancestry that was unmistakably regal. Her elongated ears angled back in a shape that suggested both beauty and aerodynamic lethality. She didn't walk. She advanced with the poise of someone trained to command entire fleets. Her gaze swept the colony with predatory focus. Then those silver, self-luminous eyes locked directly onto Ethan. "You," she said. "Human, step forward." Ethan raised both hands. "Just a maintenance engineer, unarmed, harmless, mostly tired. I know exactly who you are." Her voice carried a harmonic undertone, like 2 frequencies layered together. "Ethan Rourke, former tactical division, discharged after the incident at Aryan Gate, an event still classified even to you." Ethan's breath caught. Nobody within 20 light-years should have known that. She stopped a meter away, studying him as though confirming a hypothesis. Up close, her beauty was disarming, sharp, powerful, mesmerizing in the way a thunderstorm was mesmerizing. "I am Commander Selyndra Veyr," she said, "Blade Sovereign of the Arkrathi Dominion." "That's a very dramatic job title," Ethan said, because humor was the only thing keeping his spine from locking. Selyndra didn't blink. "Your mind carries something my people believed lost." Ethan stared, what does what now? But she suddenly turned her head, eyes narrowing. 3 more dropships streaked across the sky, silent, black, predatory. "They found me sooner than expected," she said. "Who found you?" Selyndra didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed Ethan's wrist with a precise, controlled grip, firm, unbreakable, like he weighed nothing. "You're coming with me." "Okay, Commander, slight issue," Ethan said breathlessly. "I am not a portable object." She pulled him close enough for him to see thin, shifting symbols etched into her armor. "That is exactly why you matter, and why they will kill you first." The sky ignited. Enemy fire rained down, carving the ground open with molten streaks. Selyndra shoved Ethan behind her, her armor blooming with radiant shields that rippled under the assault. A plasma blade unfolded from her gauntlet, violet and crackling like a living storm. Her voice softened. "Human, stay behind me. Your mind is too valuable to lose." "My mind is currently panicking." "Good, panic heightens cognition." She surged forward, meeting the attackers with terrifying elegance. Every movement was a perfect union of power and discipline. Ethan's body wanted to freeze. His brain wanted to run. Neither option seemed available. The first 10 seconds of running behind Commander Selyndra Veyr taught Ethan 3 things. She moved too fast for physics to fully approve. Whoever was hunting her was equipped to challenge an empire. He had absolutely no business being part of any of this. The air split with plasma streaks as the attackers advanced, their armor matte black and insectal. Not krill, not pirates, something else entirely. Their movements were too synchronized, too silent. "Selyndra," Ethan shouted over the noise, "who are these guys?" "Shadowborn," she replied, carving through an attacker with a spiraling cut. "Assassins bred to dismantle sovereign lines." "Cool, love that for us." Ethan ducked as a blade snapped past his ear. "Why are they dismantling you?" "Because I am inconvenient." Her tone made it clear she wasn't elaborating. The Shadowborn squad tightened formation, focusing fire on Selyndra. She deflected most blasts, but even her shields began flickering with strain. Ethan saw her bracing for a second wave, but then the ground shook. Hard. A charged thump like a gravitational anchor slamming into place. Selyndra's eyes widened. "Ethan, move." The shockwave rippled outward, knocking Ethan off his feet. He slammed onto the ground just as a towering Shadowborn juggernaut emerged from the dust, its armor veined with pulsing crimson energy. This one wasn't just here to kill her. This one was here to capture him. The Juggernaut pointed directly at Ethan, issuing a guttural command in a language that sounded like metal grinding through bone. "Selyndra," Ethan whispered, "why do they know my name?" "They don't," she replied, stepping between him and the Juggernaut. "They know your signature." "My signature of what?" She blocked a strike that would have bisected him, her blade screaming with generated heat. "That," she said, pushing back against the Juggernaut's weight, "is what I have been trying to determine." Ethan scrambled behind a half-collapsed mining vehicle, gasping for breath. His mind raced, his past, Aryan Gate, the strange classified readings, the nightmares he never shook. Could there have been something in his records, something nobody ever explained? Selyndra's armor flared as she released a pulse of violet energy that staggered the Juggernaut. "Ethan, listen to me. Do not let them touch you. Do not let them scan you. And above all, do not let them see your pulse pattern. My pulse pattern is boring and human." She gave him one sharp, impossible-to-interpret glance. "No, it is not." Before Ethan could argue, the Juggernaut tore a mining crane from its supports and hurled it across the battlefield. Selyndra leapt, but not fast enough. The crane crashed into her, slamming her into the ground and pinning her under twisted metal. Her shields flickered violently, fracturing along their edges. The Juggernaut turned toward Ethan. Its mandible mask opened, revealing scanning tendrils. Ethan froze. He knew instinctually that if those tendrils touched him, something irreversible would happen. Something he wasn't prepared for. The Juggernaut lunged. Selyndra snarled, forcing her body upward though her armor screamed warnings. "Ethan, run." But Ethan didn't run. He grabbed the shock baton and sprinted straight toward the Juggernaut. No plan, no training, just raw survival instinct. He swung the baton with everything he had. It connected with the Juggernaut's armor, sending a ripple of electricity across its plating. The creature barely reacted. Instead, it seized Ethan by the throat and hoisted him into the air. Ethan clawed at its grip, vision blurring. The scanning tendrils extended. And then something strange happened. The tendrils flickered. The Juggernaut paused. The crimson lines on its armor pulsed erratically, like it was receiving contradictory input. Ethan felt something, faint but electric, radiating from his chest outward like a second heartbeat awakening. The Juggernaut recoiled. Selyndra saw it instantly. "That's it," she whispered. "It recognized you." "Recognized me as what?" Ethan croaked. "No time." Selyndra wrenched herself free, hurling her blade in a perfect arc. It sliced through the Juggernaut's sensory cluster, sending the creature staggering. "Ethan, to me now." He stumbled to her. She grabbed him, activating a concealed teleport charge on her wrist. A bright sphere of violet light enveloped them. The Juggernaut roared and charged. But too late, the world imploded and reformed. The two of them reappeared inside Selyndra's dropship, alarms blaring. Ethan collapsed against a bulkhead, coughing. Okay, I need answers, immediately, preferably slowly, and with diagrams." Selyndra sealed the hatch, breathing hard. Her voice dropped into a tone he hadn't heard before, something between urgency and fear. "What happened out there confirms it," she said. "Confirms what?" "That you are not fully human." Silence, the ship rumbled as engines ignited. Ethan stared at her. "Selyndra, I was born in Indianapolis." "And yet," she replied, her silver eyes glowing with a mixture of awe and dread, "your pulse pattern matches only one recorded species in galactic history." "Which species?" Selyndra studied him for a long moment, so long he felt his heartbeat hammering in his ears. Finally, she spoke. The dropship shuddered violently as Selyndra threw it into a steep climb, violet thrusters punching through the thin atmosphere of Talmaris 3. Ethan clung to a stabilizer rail, knuckles white, body still buzzing with the strange, electrified aftershock of whatever had awakened inside him. "Strap in," Selyndra ordered. "I'm trying, but this seatbelt has about 9 points of attachment, and I barely understand 2 of them. Then sit still and try not to die." "Great plan, love the specificity." The ship rolled hard, Shadowborn fire streaking past the cockpit. Selyndra's fingers flew across the controls, her movements precise enough to be choreography. Ethan watched her. Her posture, her control, her absolute refusal to panic, and it did something to his chest. She wasn't human, but she was real, grounded, viciously competent. He was suddenly very aware he was the opposite of all those things. "All right," Ethan gasped. "Before I completely lose my mind, can you explain something? Preferably in words my struggling Earth brain can process." "Which part?" Selyndra said as she cut the engines. letting the ship drop into a controlled free fall to avoid an incoming missile. Start with the one where you said I'm not fully human. Accurate. Maybe elaborate. Selyndra exhaled sharply, not irritated, focused. She switched controls to autopilot long enough to turn her gaze onto him, silver eyes glowing faintly in the dim cockpit. Your pulse pattern, she said, is not human, not entirely. What does that even mean? Every species emits an electrobiometric signature, an internal rhythm of consciousness. Humans have one of the simplest patterns. Stable, linear, predictable. She pointed at Ethan's chest. Yours is layered, multitonal, resonant on frequencies humans cannot access. Ethan blinked. I don't have resonances, I have anxiety. Not anymore. The ship lurched as an impact rocked the hull. Alarms blared. Selyndra snapped back to the controls and dove the ship toward the lower clouds. Shadowborn fighters streaked overhead, searching but not locking. And then Ethan pressed, gripping his harness. You said what was the name? Shattered Crown. Selyndra's jaw tightened, not with anger, fear. Ethan, the Shattered Crown were not warriors, they were architects. Architects of what? Buildings, empires. No, she said softly, of consciousness. Ethan stared. What does that mean? They shaped minds, they built thought, they seeded intelligence across early galactic species. They could perceive structures of awareness, the way an engineer sees blueprints. And they're extinct. Every record says so. Then how? Ethan said, pointing at himself like a confused tourist who had wandered into the wrong museum. Am I involved? I don't know, Selyndra admitted. But the Juggernaut reacted to you exactly as the ancient logs described. Fear, reverence, instinctive recognition. I wasn't doing anything, Ethan shouted. I was dangling in the air, getting throttled like a rag. Yes, she said quietly, but your pattern responded, it awakened under threat. A cold weight settled in Ethan's stomach. So what am I? He whispered. Some kind of descendant. Impossible. The crown vanished 20,000 years ago. They left no heirs. Well, someone apparently forgot to tell my DNA. Selyndra didn't argue, which scared Ethan more than anything she could have said. The dropship suddenly jerked upward as the hull hummed with a different tone, one Ethan hadn't heard before. Selyndra's eyes widened. They're using resonance trackers, she said. They can detect your pulse pattern now that it's awakened. Trackers, as in looking for me trackers. Yes, and they will hunt you for the rest of your life if we don't mask you. Ethan swallowed hard. Selyndra, not to be dramatic, but how do we mask something I didn't know I even had? There is only one way. She angled the ship sharply toward orbit. We reach our Krathi Prime. Your homeworld? Yes. Is your homeworld safe? No. Is it safer than the assassins trying to dissect me? Marginally. That is not comforting. It wasn't meant to be. Another blast rocked the hull. The Shadowborn closed in again, faster this time. Selyndra activated the ship's stealth membrane, an iridescent energy veil that bent incoming scans. But it flickered. They're scanning for consciousness patterns now, she said. They're not looking for the ship, they're looking for you. Great, Ethan muttered. Love being the galaxy's least fun Easter egg. Selyndra ignored his sarcasm, voice turning clinical. Listen to me. When we break into orbit, you may feel disorientation. Define disorientation. Your senses may cascade. Your brain may try to interpret signals it has never known how to interpret. My brain barely interprets Earth taxes, Selyndra. She turned to him, serious, focused, intense. When your pulse pattern activates fully, you may begin to perceive thoughts, patterns, cognitive structures. The Crown did not see minds as we do. They saw the architecture beneath them. Ethan stared at her, horrified. You are describing telepathy. No, she corrected. I am describing something older, something deeper. He opened his mouth to argue, but froze. His heartbeat skipped. Then another rhythm overlapped it, soft, distant. Like an invisible tuning fork resonating inside his skull. Ethan gasped, gripping his temples. There was no pain, just awareness. Selyndra saw him react. Ethan, what do you feel? I don't know, he whispered. It's like something is humming. Somewhere nearby, someone S. He stopped, not someone, many someones, echoes, patterns, minds like faint silhouettes behind a curtain. He squeezed his eyes shut, trembling. Selyndra, what is happening to me? Breaking into orbit should have been a victory. Ethan expected relief, space, distance, safety. Instead, the moment Talmaris 3 shrank beneath them, the universe felt louder. Not sound. Not anything he had senses for, something deeper. A constant, faint vibration in the back of his skull, humming like distant machinery someone had forgotten to turn off. Except it wasn't machinery. It felt alive. Selyndra didn't miss the way he tensed. "It's beginning," she murmured. "Yeah," Ethan whispered, gripping the armrest. "I kind of noticed. You are perceiving resonance bleed. Early-stage crown sensory activation." Ethan squeezed his eyes shut. "Feels like someone left a stereo on in my brain." "That will intensify." "Fantastic. Love that journey for me." Selyndra turned back to the console, only to freeze. Directly ahead of them, slipping out of shadow like a predator breaching water, a massive Shadowborn destroyer blocked their trajectory. Angular, silent, black as a starless void. Its hull was covered in fractal glyphs that shimmered with faint crimson light. Ethan inhaled sharply. "That thing is bigger than our entire colony." Selyndra's jaw tightened. "They deployed a war scanner." She flicked through sensor readings. "It's already locked onto your frequency." "You said stealth would hide me." "I said it would delay detection, not defeat a war scanner." The destroyer charged a massive energy pulse, one not aimed at their ship, but at him. Ethan felt it before he saw it. A sudden spike in the low hum in his mind, like something reaching out, searching, trying to pull something from him that he didn't understand. "No," he whispered, hands gripping his head. "No, no, no, make it stop." Selyndra tore a stabilizer strap loose and anchored him against the seat. "Ethan, focus on my voice. Do not let them inside. I don't even know what they're trying to get into." "Your resonance," she said urgently. "Your mind is broadcasting. They are trying to read you." The hum deepened. Ethan felt a pressure, an alien weight pushing against his consciousness, like someone knocking on a locked door. Except the door was inside him. "Ethan," Selyndra said, voice sharp, "listen to me. The Crown did not just perceive consciousness, they shaped it. Their minds were labyrinths, living architectures designed to protect their knowledge." "I don't have a labyrinth," Ethan cried. "I have a panic disorder." Something hit him then, a spike of sensation so intense he arched forward. Not pain, not fear, recognition, like the pressure was expecting something from him. Ethan's voice trembled. "Selyndra, the scanner, it knows me." "Not you," she corrected. "What you carry." "I don't carry anything." Selyndra held his face between her hands, forcing him to meet her eyes. Her gaze was fierce, commanding, grounding. "Ethan Rourke, you survived Aryan Gate. You lived through something no human should have survived. You think that was luck." He stared at her, trembling. "What happened to me at Aryan Gate?" he whispered. "Nobody ever told me." "That is because nobody knew," she said. "Until now." The war scanner fired. A pulse of crimson energy cut through the void, passing straight through their hull like light through glass, and hit Ethan. He gasped as the pulse wrapped around him, scanning every neuron, every thought, every piece of him he didn't know he had. He felt something unlock in the deepest part of his consciousness, like a sealed room flickering with light. He saw shapes he didn't understand. Symbols, blueprints, patterns folding into patterns, the hum spiked, becoming almost melodic. Selyndra saw his pupils dilate to silver. "Ethan, stay with me." I can feel them," he whispered. The Crown echoes. Something is reaching back, something old. The scanner pulse intensified. Ethan's second heartbeat thundered, and something answered. A shockwave exploded outward from his body, pure resonance, shattering the scanner's lock and frying the destroyer's sensors. Crimson glyphs along the Shadowborn hull flickered, then went dark. The destroyer reeled off course. Selyndra reacted instantly, pushing the thrusters to maximum. "Hold on." The dropship shot past the disabled war scanner and punched into deep space, leaving the Shadowborn fleet scrambling. Ethan slumped forward, drained, breathing like he'd run a marathon. The humming was quieter now, but still there, like faint, whispering static. Selyndra knelt beside him, scanning him with her gauntlet. "You manifested a resonance burst." "That sounds bad." "It is unprecedented." She touched his temple. "And impossible. Crown abilities were intentional, controlled, yours activated by instinct." "Instinct?" Ethan asked. "I don't even know how to microwave leftovers without burning them." Her expression softened, not with pity, but with something like reluctant awe. "Ethan, no untrained mind should survive a war scanner assault, let alone repel it." He let out a humorless laugh. "Guess I'm gifted." She didn't smile, instead she lowered her voice. "This changes everything. The Shadowborn will report this. The Dominion will not ignore it. And the galaxy," she paused, searching for the right words. "The galaxy has not seen a crown resonance in 20 millennia." "What does that make me?" Ethan whispered. Selyndra stood slowly, her armor's bioluminescent markings bright with tension. A threat, she said. A beacon, a miracle. The crown construct filled the viewport like a dead god drifting in the void. It wasn't a station, wasn't a ship, wasn't anything Ethan had a human word for. Enormous geometric plates floated disconnected, yet perfectly aligned. Gravity-defiant architecture shaped like a cathedral carved from starlight and broken mirrors. Fractals spiraled across its surface, shifting whenever Ethan tried to focus on them. Some parts gleamed as if freshly built, others cracked like they had survived the birth and death of suns. But what made Ethan's blood run cold was this. It was humming, the same tone he felt inside his skull, soft, low, ancient. "Why is it drifting?" Ethan whispered. "Shouldn't something that size fall apart?" "It cannot fall apart," Selyndra said quietly. Crown constructs were built on axioms of physics that modern empires have never replicated. They exist as long as the pattern exists. That is the single most terrifying sentence I've ever heard. It is also the most accurate. She adjusted their trajectory, guiding the dropship into a slow orbit around the construct. Enemy signals had vanished behind them. The Shadowborn weren't pursuing yet. Ethan pressed a hand to the viewport glass. His palm tingled. His pulse stuttered. "It's reacting to me," he whispered. "Yes," Selyndra said, "and that should be impossible." "Add it to the pile." "Ethan," she said sharply, turning to face him. The crown did not leave artifacts lying around the galaxy. Every construct served a purpose. Some stored knowledge, some altered mindscapes, some created species. That third one is not comforting. It is not meant to be. Ethan tore his eyes from the construct long enough to meet hers. "What do you think this one is?" Selyndra stared at the colossal patterns shifting across the structure's exterior, her expression darkening. "A resonance vault. Vault as in storage." "No," she said. "Vault as in containment." Ethan froze. Containment of what? She didn't answer. Instead, she brought the ship closer. The moment they crossed a certain invisible boundary, Ethan felt a sensation like static washing down his spine. His vision flickered, one moment seeing the cockpit, the next seeing shapes and symbols layered over reality like another dimension trying to bleed through. He gasped and gripped the seat. "Selyndra, something's happening." "I know," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "You are being recognized." "I don't want to be recognized." "That does not matter." The humming intensified. It was no longer faint. It was resonant, layered, almost melodic, like a chorus of tuning forks vibrating at different frequencies. Ethan's vision blurred, then sharpened, and suddenly he wasn't looking at the construct. He was inside it. He saw a vast hall of light suspended in infinity, pillars formed of pure geometry, symbols cascading down like waterfalls. He saw silhouettes of tall, elegant beings, their faces indistinct, their bodies shimmering as though made of shifting thought rather than matter. The shattered crown, not alive, not ghosts. Echoes that turned toward him. Ethan staggered backward in the cockpit, heart racing. "Selyndra, I saw them, the crown, they looked right at me." Her hand shot out, gripping his shoulder. "Describe them." I don't know, like holograms wearing memories, like beings made of instructions." He swallowed hard, and they felt disappointed. At that, Selyndra stiffened. "Disappointed how?" "Like I arrived unfinished." She went silent, completely, utterly silent. Ethan's voice wavered. "Selyndra, am I a mistake?" "No," she said, more forcefully than he expected. "You are an anomaly, an impossibility, but not a mistake." She leaned close, eyes narrow with thought. "What did you feel when the construct recognized you?" "Like something waking up in a room I didn't know existed," he whispered. "Like I opened a door that wasn't supposed to open." "And did you feel fear?" "Yes," Ethan said, "but not mine." Selyndra's eyes widened. "The construct feared you." "No," he said slowly. "Something inside it feared me." Before Selyndra could respond, the ship jolted violently. A gravitational tether shot from the construct, latching onto their hull. The control panels flickered, then stabilized. "They're pulling us inside," Selyndra hissed. "THEYWHO. The vault." The dropship was dragged through an opening that hadn't existed seconds earlier. Reality, glitching like the construct, was rewriting itself. Inside was a cavernous chamber lit by shifting blues and golds, as if someone had built a cathedral inside a nebula. Ethan felt the hum now in every bone. The ship landed with a soft, metallic resonance. Selyndra stood. "Stay behind me." "No argument here." The hatch opened. Cold, fractal light washed over them. The interior felt alive, textures shifting, surfaces breathing. Every step Ethan took echoed as though the floor were listening. Selyndra scanned the chamber. This is not a simple vault. This is a memory interface. A circular platform rose from the center of the floor. Ethan's chest tightened. Selyndra. Yes, she said softly. It's calling you. I don't want to go near it. She faced him fully. Ethan, you must. Whatever is inside that vault is tied to your resonance. And if we do not understand why, you will never be able to mask your pattern. He swallowed. What if it's a trap? It is, she said without hesitation. All crown constructs are traps. Light swallowed Ethan. Not blinding, not painful, just absolute. A luminescent ocean where color had not yet decided what to be. Shapes swirled at the edges of perception, folding and unfolding like ideas assembling themselves. Selyndra's voice echoed faintly from beyond the haze. Ethan, Ethan, can you hear me? He tried to answer, but his voice didn't exist here. Neither did his body, or the platform, or the vault, only resonance. A figure formed ahead, tall. Luminous, made of shifting fractal geometry, a memory wearing a face. A crown echo, it spoke without sound, yet Ethan heard it perfectly. Unfinished fragment. The words were not accusation, but assessment. Clinical, cold, unfinished. Ethan tried to speak. I didn't ask to be anything. The figure shifted, fractals condensing into a more humanoid silhouette. Not comforting, more like a thought deciding to imitate a shape. This form is irrelevant. We address what you are. What am I? Ethan shouted into the shimmering void. Everyone keeps telling me I'm impossible. You are in errors. Ethan froze, the echo continued. We seeded consciousness across the stars. We designed minds with architectures aligned to purpose. Some species were built for logic, some for empathy, none for what you represent. What do I represent? Deviation. The hum in Ethan's skull deepened. You are crown code written into an incompatible substrate. A human mind was never meant to carry resonance architecture. Ethan felt something inside him crack open. Fear, anger, identity. If I'm not supposed to exist, then why do I? The echo pulsed, because we failed. The void shook with the gravity of that admission. We attempted to create a hybrid pattern, something that could evolve independently of us. Something more unpredictable than the crown, and more adaptable than the species we seeded. You made me. We attempted, but our extinction interrupted the design. The hybrids never stabilized. They were scattered, lost, forgotten. Ethan swallowed hard. So, I'm a half-finished experiment. No, you are the first to awaken. The lights intensified, swirling like a storm of thought. Your resonance activated under threat, instinct, fear, not design. You represent evolution beyond our intent. A mind neither crown nor human, but something else. Ethan felt the meaning land like a strike. What do you want from me? For the first time, the echo's tone shifted, something almost like expectation. Completion. The void pulsed and the echo extended a fractal hand. We will give you what was denied, full activation. The architecture, the knowledge, the power. Ethan stepped back. No, I don't want power. I don't want to be some ancient weapon or an alien upgrade pack. The echo dimmed. You misunderstand. Completion is not power. Completion is clarity. Symbols spiraled around Ethan, forming structures he almost recognized, like memories he had never made. If you remain incomplete, you will destabilize. Your resonance will intensify without direction. The Shadowborn will hunt you. Your mind will fracture, and your species will follow. His stomach dropped. You're saying if I don't finish whatever this is, I become dangerous. You already are. The void trembled. Selyndra's voice pierced through the haze. Ethan, fight it, you must decide. The echo turned toward the sound, curious. You have formed an anchor. Ethan blinked. What? Connection stabilizes consciousness. The crown used collective resonance for coherence. You have her. Understanding hit him like gravity. Selyndra, her voice, her presence, her certainty when he had none. The echo extended its hand again. Choose completion or collapse. Ethan stared at the offered hand. He didn't want power, didn't want destiny, didn't want to be anything except himself. But Selyndra's voice broke through again, raw, urgent, alive. Ethan, come back. He made his choice. Ethan turned away from the echo. I don't need to be complete, he said. I just need to be me. The echo froze. You refuse. Yes, Ethan said, breath steady. If being finished means becoming something I didn't choose, then I'd rather stay broken. The echo's fractal form destabilized, rippling like a shattered reflection. Then you are truly crown. Ethan blinked. What? Choice, defiance, unpredictability. These were our greatest strengths and our doom. The echo's form brightened. You carry them well. A pulse of light surged toward him. But it wasn't overpowering. It wasn't consuming. It was an acknowledgement. A peace, not completion, slid into him. A stabilizing thread, weaving the hum in his mind into something quieter, steadier, survivable. You will not collapse. You will not be consumed. You will evolve. The vault dissolved. Ethan fell and landed in Selyndra's arms. She caught him like she'd been standing there waiting for exactly that moment. Her silver eyes searched his, fierce with something between relief and anger. "Ethan Rourke," she breathed. "What did you do?" He exhaled shakily, made a choice. Her jaw tightened. "Are you stable?" "For now," he said. "The hum is still there, but quieter, like it finally knows I'm driving." Selyndra studied him, then touched his cheek, lightly, deliberately. "The crown resonance did not consume you." "Not this time." She almost smiled. "Good, because the Shadowborn fleet is arriving." "Oh, great," Ethan muttered. "Perfect timing." Selyndra stepped closer, armor humming with power. "You are still unfinished, still unpredictable, and still hunted." "And you?" Ethan asked softly. "I," she said, "am staying with you." Ethan felt the hum in his mind align with something warm, grounding, unmistakably hers. "Then," he said, straightening, "let's go introduce the Shadowborn to a brand new